Alright, so here I'm just going to explain the same thing as always, just the idea of your quieted mind of Christ, the true creation, that existence that is there, and then this is you. This is that red man, the idea of your blood in the system. A system, so just so you know, is a wet cell environment. By that I mean that there's a magnetic force that's straight down at 90 degrees to the plane, so that when you fall, trip, stumble, that is how you fall so hard. All those sharp points hit first, and then things collapse. Always down to that same finish point. So just that understanding is in here as shadows start to represent themselves to you, because you brought concern, that idea of law. You left your Christ mind for the mind of the fallen, chasing the world, becoming that prodigal son, that fallen light. So then that idea begins to grow legs. Quite literally grows legs so that it can propel you. It can leave your mind, the idea of your thinking about it, being thought, having that fallen light being put into you, being offered to you. You know, like a fruit. You know, don't worry, it's not going to kill you. Alright, you take it, it puts you into the system, and it chokes the life out of you. It becomes the beast within. The serpent. Alright? The 4/8. The full cycle. Alright? You'll see all that happen. Because you're going to turn your zero, that idea of the idle mind, relaxing and reposing with your Creator. And you're going to bring it into the idea of the one power. It will cross your peace, and it will bring you into a fallen existence. Okay? Do you see how when you're... Now, do you see this is now your corona, your crown. The idea of the 13, or the idea that let no man take your crown. Let no man steal your peace of mind. Because now that peace of mind you have allowed to vibrate so rapidly, and it's not even close to done yet, to cause and cast a shadow into this actual physical place. So now you've brought that into this place, and you've brought it into whatever room you're in. Because now you've given it the blood to exist. Okay? And do you see also the shadow also represents the magnetic attraction. 90 degrees to the plane. That's what is called so-called gravity. That's it. That is the fact of the matter. Now moving past that, you see these what are called Olympic lights. This is the idea of legion within your mind that is keeping you tied down to a fallen world. Alright, they all then grow within you. Then they all then, because this is I'm always showing you a single thought. And then the result of that thought as it becomes physical, which is you propelling in any way towards it. You become that butterfly, remember? And you flutter towards that fallen light that's cast into the world by your own creation. Your words, your thoughts have power. Do you see out here in the back? Do you see how it's everything's going nice and easy out there, but within your mind it's starting to, that single thought is going to grow quite rapidly. It's going to confuse you. It's going to start to look like something. Maybe you saw a Christmas tree in there, maybe you didn't. You're not sure, so you continue to concentrate. And guess what? Oh, let me tell you about these birds up here. I was drawing this, and my wife was said, "Can I ask you something?" I said, "Sure." She said, "The sky's boring. Can you put a bird?" I said, "Okay, I'll put two." And I put two, actually. And then I said, I'm going to use this one. You'll find out why later. Now, by the way, this one's name is Larry. Named after my best buddy ever, Larry. All right. Keep going. So now your system's now brought into the concern. Look what's going to happen in your mind. You're going to really start to see that Christmas tree. Okay? It's going to be starting to present you gifts. It's like, if you believe this, see, oh, look what happened. Look what happened up here. The idea, the concern shot out and then brought poor Larry. It bonked him right on the beak. Anyway, so then it created this mirrored reflection. Do you see how the world now is starting to close off to you? Because now your thought is being strangled by what became the serpent. The 888. The Christmas tree, that gift is now being... Notice where that Christmas tree is, by the way. Do you understand the representation of that? Because do you see how the horizon would be your arms crucified to the world? By your own power? By your own blood? Look how it's running out of your legs. You see that? Keeps going. Now that door's quickly closing. It's already starting to reflect onto itself. So any idea of getting out of there, like saying, you know, wait a minute, they're telling me this, that, and the other thing. You know what? No, in fact, nobody died, nobody got hurt. Don't ever bother me with this again. In fact, why did you even bring that to my attention? Next time, scoot before you even think about it. Because I still have to do that same process, but I kick it out immediately. See, but I still am bothered for the moment. So anyways, that Christmas tree starts to build, the ornaments start to blossom, as they always do. Pow! Poor Larry got his feathers knocked off. Pow! Anyways, but he's fine, don't worry. Don't concern yourself, but that is the light of concern. Also keep an idea on like where they're still subject to nature, so they're still behind the clouds at this moment. Please keep that in mind for later down the road. So then now do you see that reflection starting to come in? The concern is starting to build the reflected surface to where all you're going to see in it is this Christmas tree in the lower left. You see how now you're really starting to see it build, but it's starting to build up inside you. You're starting to wood up inside you. You're starting to do yourself. Wood up. See how that wood's getting all built up? See how big you are? But that's just a reflection, man. You know how that works, right? So anyways, you think you're pretty big. You think, but look how big, and look how you're gigoloing it. Look how you're gigoloing it. All right. But now you're bleeding into the system, remember? I showed you that so-called asshole body. That asshole body of you, that you being that asshole, that guy who thinks you know better. Do you see how you're that snake right here eating your tail? Do you see that's the head right here? That golden head, that golden crown of the serpent has been identified. That's where it's feeding unto itself. The rest is just this little nasty little body. See how? Keep it right there. You see it. Don't worry about it. It's all just fallen BS system. You see how though you're bleeding? You're bleeding in here into the system. Keep going. So then, yeah, pow, it just gets more powerful. It just shakes you, rattles you, rolls you. And then look what happens. Look into the mirror. You see the 7 code happen. So then you are then reflecting this idea, this Christmas tree, this gift that the world presented you. It strangled you. It brought your 2 antennae together. It then shot them out as light. But don't worry. I'm going to show you that it's actually you are going to be built as a system, as a projector of the world, because that your mouth, which is this fallen, this oblong cube, which by the way, remember, there was a question somebody had before. This place you live, this creation, it is the shape of the human eyeball looking up at its creator. The place we live is an oblong cube, because the way you know that is because Jesus Christ is the cornerstone, and the cornerstone is that oblong cube. All right? Just know Don't get tied up in the details. Just once you know the truth, that's just a matter of fact. Keep trucking. All right? Stop popping wood every time somebody says something. It shouldn't interest you to this level. All right? So anyways, now you're feeding yourself into the system. Now, guess what? Law, you remember I told you law always has to show up. Law shows up. It wants to rule the roost, and it does. And old Daffy Duck, whoops, it starts to look like something's starting to happen to your Christmas tree, too. I kind of said Daffy Duck. Because it's starting to look like your Christmas tree's melting, and it's starting to kind of look like you're going to be turned into a fool, like a duck, a quacking duck. But hey, still look at it. It still looks like a Christmas tree. Don't you worry. Rattle, 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 roll. Law's in the system. Larry's still getting bonked. Please don't bonk Larry with your fallen concern. Do you see how now that your tree's starting to destruct? Because this is a lie, so it can't exist. But it's still sucking the last little bit of life out of you. The red. It's still sucking that last little bit of marrow out of you. Alright? Look how bruised you are, man. Look how bruised your member is. Good grief. Stop strangling it. Pow! Out of the system. You are then echoing. Do you see? You're reflecting. You're starting to send out those tones, those waves. Right? That butterfly is being built. The background has now dropped before you, when before you were just in a little valley and the hills were high above you. In your estimation, now you are towering above everything. Look at you. And your tree's starting to break. Your reflection. Look at the reflection of Law. Look at poor Larry. Look at poor Larry. Law, not only did concern hit him, but Law hit him. Double hit, because he has to be hit. Because once he's hit with concern, he has to be hit with the reflected code of concern. Do you see how that asshole man is being fed back into the system now, fully animated, fully diced up, fully ready to roll, angry, concerned, pissed? He's got that crown on too. Look, he stole your gold. That gold from your crown I talked to you about earlier has now been stolen. He's wearing it, and now he's projecting it back into you, killing you. Look, now you're starting to more look like a Daffy Duck. Poor Larry's still getting knocked in the head. Needlessly. And your antennae have been built into the machine, by the way. Look at them. And now the only thing that's coming out that's fungible, that's changeable, that's always up into interpretation and opinion is law. Because there is no right and wrong. It's all BS. It's all somebody's opinion. Alright? Do you see that river that was feeding your tree is just, it's now been changed, it's gone, it's been taken away, right? Because your tree is yourself. You're so big, and look how powerful you are. Look how far in the distance everything is. Look at you. Pow! Look at that vibration. Look at that gold that you're starting to produce. You're so smart. All right, look at how you're yourself. But look at your image, man. Look in the mirror. You're a duck. It's not that gift you thought it was. You're not this big dude you thought you were. You're starting to look like a duck, man. Right? Look at you, all angry. Look now. Do you notice how you're starting to overtake? You're starting to go out and surround nature, because you're going to become bigger than what's out for you to actually observe with your own sight. All right, because you think you're bigger than that, right? So anyways, you're not. You project yourself and you wind up looking like old quacky duck here. You're angry at the system, and guess what? You break, and there's nothing you're going to do about it. And then it's that I showed you the square. That is now the compass. That is what drove you insane. Look at that. The green now takes over the system, and you are dead. You're a dead man walking. Like I told you, don't engage the system.